Shalom, shalom, beloveds. How y'all doing? Hope everybody's doing well, blessed, highly favored. Another day above ground, especially in these perilous times. Hope everybody is loving on those who love on them and having a divine relationship with the Most High. Most definitely. I'm a little stuffy. I'm not sick. I want to tap in. I have like I guess this will be like a two-part, you know what I'm saying? This will be like a two-part message, right? And so, first and foremost, the first part I guess I'll do to be able to explain, like, and help, right? So, first and foremost, I want to say this, right? Is that just make sure that y'all stay prayed up in these times, most definitely. Make sure that y'all stay prayed up. Make sure that you know that you're staying close to the Father, because we are entering into a season of the 4 and 2 months, the 40 and 2 months, right? So with me just saying that, I'm gonna put a pin in that and then get to what I was gonna get ready to say, right? One thing I wanted to speak on is that there are a lot of people that don't see how the enemy works, right? And when I mean this, when I say this, I mean like in their lives, sometimes people will feel like that they have it, you know what I'm saying, figured out in the comfortability of what's normalcy, you know what I'm saying, in their lives. And what I mean by that is that what's normal, you know what I'm saying, has become a comfort. So it's just like people, you know what I'm saying, drink and smoke and, you know what I'm saying, watch porn and all this type of stuff. And this is not me, you know what I'm saying, being judgmental, but what I'm saying is that there are some people that do these things and don't realize why they do them, right? One thing is that, you know, that I speak about, you know, that the enemy uses our traumas in order to, I guess, have us locked in and anchored into suggestive imaginations, right? And as the enemy uses our traumatic experiences to leave us anchored into, you know, the ability for him to gain legal access unto us with suggestive imaginations, it all stems from the traumatic experience. One thing is that so many people here in this realm have dealt with a lot of different abuse, you know what I'm saying, regardless if it has been physical, you know what I'm saying, psychological or emotional abuse, right? There are people that have been rejected via family, people that have been rejected in relationships, people that have lost family members, have lost children, you know what I'm saying. There are people that have almost lost their lives, have been in a you know, a near-death experience. And so these things are very traumatic, you know what I'm talking about, to the human psyche. And so what it does is that in our brains, we have a thing that is called the amygdala. The amygdala is what delegates and regulates the fight and flight response, right? And so whenever too much has been pressured onto the amygdala, then it ends up, I guess, in simplistic terms, it will end up knocking out of whack in order for us to be able to utilize our frontal lobe cortex, which is decision making and self-control in society and within ourselves, right? So whenever the amygdala has become overpressurized, you know what I'm saying, then it ends up making it to where it's hard for us to be able to decipher what is real reality and what's not, right? And when I say that, I mean it as far as to explain it to y'all even deeper. Whenever you lose the ability to have, you know what I'm saying, decision making skills and also self-control, you know what I'm saying, emotional control and stuff like that, it tends to have a defensive mechanism that will develop. And in this defensive mechanism that develops will end up being one of those things that's like a let's see here, I guess it will be a hyper reactive type of ordeal, right? And so by hyper reactive, it means that sometimes you'll react to things that don't require a such a sharp response. Sometimes you won't react. So then people end up going into this thing where they feel detached. So therefore they feel either numb, they feel alone, you know what I'm saying? They feel shame and guilt, you know what I'm saying? And they feel this very much of a heavy weight that is on them. You know what I'm saying? It weighs very heavy and it's hard to lift that thing, right? Now, in the midst of that, as it triggers shame, guilt, and doubt and blame and stuff like that, this is where the enemy is able to use the chains of bondage upon us in order to leave us stuck into those things via his accusations. So whenever we hear these voices that are, oh, well, you'll never be good, that's your problem, you're problematic, you're a burden, you're a failure, and all this type of stuff, these things stem from that part. Is because the traumatic responses, we've had an overload of certain things inside of society, inside of dealing with people socially and dealing with certain things, you know what I'm saying, personally, you know what I'm saying, with our own personal lives and stuff like this. And so it ends up becoming too much pressure, right? And this is why therapy is that much more needed for a lot of people. Some people don't see it as they need therapy, which is, I get it, but at the same time, you know, when it will, if your decision making, if you've been through a lot of pressure and your decision making skills are a little underdeveloped, if they're perfectly fine, then hey, this might not be for you. But you know, we have to question ourselves, because in the midst of it is that it's a difference between, you know what I'm saying, isolating off pain and just actually isolating to heal, right? Going into our own wilderness in our lives to heal, right? And so whenever we, the difference between isolating off pain is that within the detachment, there is a thing that we tend to get bored, right? And so as we get bored, and because we feel numb and we feel anxiety and depression and, you know what I'm saying, all these things, then it's like we try to formulate a way to be able to cope with those things, right? So then what we'll end up doing is trying to, we'll try to, I guess, have a release through dopamines, you know what I'm saying? And so that would be things as far as doing drugs or doing things that, you know what I'm saying, that kind of help take away, that gratify us in the moment. Drugs, you know what I'm saying, sexual acts, pornography and all this type of stuff, or, you know what I'm saying, dabbling into traumatic scenarios, you know what I'm saying, liking to be able to deal with drama and all these type of things that give us some form of a release temporarily, right? That's really how that works. And so when you realize and you understand that's how that works, you know what I'm saying, then you become a lot more aware of where you place your energy and who you are and how you respond and how you are, right? But this is what I mean by, you know what I'm saying, isolating with pain. Now, whenever you isolate, you know what I'm saying, in a healthy manner, it's helping you to create boundaries. Those things that you do not do, those things that, you know, you have a sense of self. So you require these things within yourself, for yourself, and everybody else that operates outside of that, anything else that operates outside of that, you know what I'm talking about, will end up being something that you won't tolerate because you have created a boundary with that. And it's really, you know what I'm saying, self-awareness is really what it is, right? And so it's okay to be able to isolate with self, right? Just not to stay in isolation. When we stay in isolation with self is whenever we end up putting ourselves into a mental prison. So then it makes it that much more harder to be able to get out and and delve in the inner weavings, you know what I'm saying, of society, of societal norms, in order for us to, you know what I'm saying, sprout and blossom more of who we are, you know what I'm talking about, through the reality, or, you know what I'm saying, just through the things that earth, that the realm, that life has to offer, right? So those things are considered basically like dirt, as we are seeds. And so we have to be planted in soil, because through soil we grow. We can't grow without soil. So there are things that are required to be soil. And these things come as tribulations into our lives, right? Now, with me talking about tribulations, the first part of this message that I'm speaking about right now, and then there'll be another part of tribulations that I'm talking about, which will be the ending part of this message, right? First, I want to go to Romans. I want to go to, let's see here. I'm going to go to Romans 5. Let's go to Romans 5, right? So Romans 5 says, therefore, being justified by the faith, we have peace with Yahweh through our Adonai, Yahushua HaMashiach, right? People who don't know what Adonai is the Lord, you know what I'm saying? We know Yahushua HaMashiach, you know what I'm saying, Yeshua, right? And then we know Elohinu, and we know Yahweh, right? Which is God, okay? Now, by whom we have access by faith into his grace, there wherein we stand and rejoice in hope of glory of Yah. And not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, right? Now, some people will be like, why do we what's the glory in the tribulations? I'm gonna break it down for you. Let me keep reading, and I'm gonna give you another verse after this, and we'll break it down, right? So within the tribulations also, knowing that tribulations worketh patience, right there. And patience experience, and experience hope. And hope maketh not ashamed, because the love of Yah is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Ghost, which is given unto us, right? So when I talk to you about pain, isolating in pain, right? The isolating in pain, we tend to lose the sight and having faith in ourselves with hope. So we will tend to, I guess, make a mental excuse or a mental escape, which is escapism, right? We'll make a mental escape in order for us to not feel those things that we feel so deeply. And this is what also helps go into the things that keep us to be numbed inside of ourselves, inside of our minds. And we have numb feelings, desensitized towards certain things, you know what I'm talking about. And it's all triggered from, you know what I'm saying, traumatic experiences that have overwhelmed the amygdala, right? Salaki, the fight or flight response. And so the way that we respond to certain things can end up being becoming, when being so stressed and not really having a sense of self and not having anywhere to put it, then we tend to try to fix ourselves. Because one thing is that the amygdala also does is to help try to I guess repair, the fix. As the brain, you know what I'm saying, works all together, it's trying to figure out a problem solving. There's a problem that we know inside of ourselves, so now we're going to try to fix it. That's how the brain operates, right? And so when the pieces are not put together in the right appropriation, then it does something totally different. This is why, you know, people end up developing triggers, you know what I'm saying, traumatic responses, you know what I'm talking about, PTSD, you know what I'm saying, suicidality and all this type of stuff, you know what I'm saying, heavy addictions, you know what I'm saying, is because of those things that the enemy will use against us, which will be like the inadequacies, right? And so we tend to fall into a format of something of what we're not, as we are broken. But this is why the Most High loves to work with the broken pieces in us to do his perfect work and his will through us, to help us to regain strength. Because us trying to do it on our own doesn't quite work out the way that we think it does, right? There's many people that will they will do, different practices, yoga and all this other stuff and crystals and all these other things, right? The thing that I find very odd though is that when these people do these things, which is an outside ordeal, and they do these things, a lot of these people still deal with depression and anxiety, still deal with, anger in certain situations and triggers and stuff like that, still end up drinking and stuff like that. There's a few that don't, there's a lot of them that do, right? And so this is not to point the fingers at these things, but what I'm saying though was that those that try to self-doctor themselves tend to only hide it a little bit deeper than what it is instead of releasing it, right? And so for those who know, like, to do shadow work, right, is to really sit with yourself, to look at life for what it is. Look at your experiences for where you have been, what you have been through, and how did it make you? How can you become greater? What can you throw away that is spiritual junk that does not do you any good? You know what I'm talking about? What can you do to enhance and increase yourself for you to be better for yourself that can also, transmute into the existence of everybody else, into your existence in reality, the existence of reality, to help make the world around you, your atmosphere, your trajectory, a better place, right? And so whenever we have some form of a way to be able to, I guess it's really kind of, people will look at it as you throwing it away, which you kind of are, but some people will say that whenever you have to put it on something else, then you are not being accountable. But it says in the scriptures in Matthew, I think it's Matthew 28, I can't remember the appropriated address, but it basically says that cast your burdens on, come to me, all ye who are heavy, who labor and are heavy laden, or heavy burden, give me your yoke and I will give you rest, and take my yoke, for my yoke is light. So this means that those things that are keeping us bound, those things that are holding on to us, we are supposed to give those things away. One thing that people tend to forget is that when a person says that if you're throwing those things away, that you're not being accountable. No, you're being accountable whenever you recognize, how you interacted in those things, right? It's just like whenever I have been toxic to people before in the past, and I did not know what stemmed those things. But then I realized that, okay, it was me that did those things, right? But at the same time, I didn't like that who I was. Where do I put those things, right? And a lot of people deal with these things, This is why I don't harbor too much animosity towards a lot of people, is because regardless of how many times it has came against me and it has changed me into that, I realized how to be able to release those things, because those things were not of me. Those things were responses. Those things ended up becoming a deal that was, I guess, like a misappropriated fight or flight response, I'm talking about. And I didn't have therapy, nor was I really trusting, in the Father all the way. Nor was I trusting in myself and the situation and all these things. So it just became over pressurized. So my reactivity, towards certain situations and scenarios, I'm talking about, ended up placing me in certain, scenarios which were not favorable to me, right? Which also put on more stagnancy. And this is what would help create a delay in my process of purpose. And so this is what the enemy does to a lot of y'all, to try to keep you stagnated. Yeah, you might have did a transgression against your brother or your sister some time ago, and it could have been yesterday. It could have been, whenever, regardless, your parents have done something to you, you've done something to your parents, your children have done something against you, family members and all this type of stuff, right? And the thing about it is we all have the right to feel, because it lets us know that those beacons of emotions let us know that we are feeling something in the way that we feel and how to be able to regulate those things and where we're going after we feel those things. I've always said that we're not supposed to harbor onto those things, clench those things. Once we keep continually clenching those things, you know what I'm saying, that we are not, but just because we are aware and we feel those things, we feel them and just know and be like, okay, well, you know, this person, you know what I'm saying, may have made me feel sad or depressed or whatever, but I can't allow it to go ahead and, you know, direct my, you know what I'm saying, progress or my steps in order for me to stay stagnant. You know what I'm saying? I can't allow this person who's made me angry, you know what I'm saying, to allow me to turn into, you know what I'm saying, a monster towards everybody else. You know what I'm talking about? Though I feel like I can, but I choose not to because it would not benefit me. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't benefit me nor anybody else, because there are those who depend on me, you know what I'm saying, in that they look at me and they look up to me. You know what I'm talking about? Which is my children and stuff like that. And so it's like, if I do something that is unorthodox in a negative way, in a condescending way into my life, what message am I conveying to them? How will they be able to realize that, okay, well, you know, he set the bar only so high, so therefore that's as high as the bar goes. I don't have to go over that bar. Some people are self-perseverance, and so they will end up making the way to go over that bar, which is a good thing, but it's not everybody. You know what I'm talking about? And so this is those things, what I'm saying is that whenever we don't release these things, then it's so easy for us to throw away certain things, and then we end up throwing ourselves away. You know what I'm talking about? While still clenching onto those things. We will throw ourselves away, but still hold on to those things that do not benefit us, that's not conducive to our path. And so when we do that, this becomes very misappropriated and very toxic and, you know what I'm saying, very unhealthy for us to be able to, you know what I'm saying, handle, right? And so what I'm saying is that as we cast those things and give those things to the Father, we know that, okay, well, we didn't like this. This is not who we are. Excuse me. This is not who we are. You know what I'm saying? Or let me just speak from my standpoint. You know what I'm saying? This is not who I am. And so I didn't like those things. So now let me go ahead and give these things to you. I'm aware that these things happen and that I have the capability to do these things. You know what I'm talking about? But I want to do something greater and better than those things that, you know what I'm saying, I have done in the past. The response, I need to change my response. I need to be able to talk to myself, tell myself that I'm greater than those things, and realize that we make mistakes. Mistakes are meant for us to be able to learn, to help us to grow. These are the soils that, as we are seeds, you know what I'm saying, in order for us to bud out and sprout and flourish into something that much more beautiful in our lives, right? And so this is why it says here that Romans 5:3, and not only so, but we glory in tribulation also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience hope. We end up becoming hopeless when we don't have the patience and the experience and recognize and have an awareness of what it is. So people will tend to think that those mistakes are who they are. Those mistakes are not who you are, beloved. That's the thing you have to keep in mind. Those mistakes are not who you are. Those mistakes were made to help you to grow. These are tribulations, you know what I'm saying, that you go through, right? In order for you to be able to develop patience. How do you develop patience through the tribulations, right? Let me show you. So let me go to Ephesians. I'm going to go to Ephesians 3, right? Ephesians 3, and I'm going to start at 11. According to the eternal purpose, which he purposed in Yahushua HaMashiach, Christ, right, the Messiah, or Adonai, our Lord, in whom we have boldness and access with confidence by the faith of him. Right? Wherefore, I desire that ye faint not at my tribulations for you, which is your glory. Faint not at your tribulations, at the tribulation that he has for us. You know what I'm saying? For you and I, and for everybody else, right? Is because it is for your glory, right? For the cause I bow my knee unto the Father of our Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach, of whom the whole family in heaven and earth is named, right? That he will grant you, according to the riches of his glory, to be strengthened with might by his spirit in the inner man, right? So the glory and the things that is given is above riches, and that's the inner person. This is what his works, you know what I'm saying? If it was not so, it wouldn't say here in Ephesians 2:10 that for we are his workmanship created in the Mashiach, whose good works which Yahweh hath before ordained we should walk in them, right? So this is the glory, is not to feel that, not to be in a self-accusing, a hopeless state, because in that tribulation, we end up gaining patience and experience and hope, right? And hope maketh not ashamed, because the love of Yah shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Ghost, which is given unto us, right? For when we are yet without strength, in due time, Hamashiach died for the ungodly, right? So that's another part of why, you know what I'm saying, he died for us in order for us to be able to have, salvation, you know what I'm talking about, and sanctification, is within the midst of, when people look at it from the aspect of, okay, I have all this hurt, and I have all this anger, and this animosity, and this anxiety, and this depression, and I don't know where to put it. So therefore, I drink, I smoke, I watch porno, I watch, you know what I'm saying, things that try to take my mind off of these things, you know what I'm talking about, and it only works for a little bit, but then it's like it comes back. It's because you didn't release it. So once you release it, you know what I'm saying, there's a point of a way to release. And so whenever you believe, it's another reason why it's important to be able to believe it on him. You know what I'm saying? This is another reason why we are in the times that we're in order for the Most High to allow certain things. You know what I'm saying? People feel like that, okay, well, if that's the case, then yeah, God should go ahead and take, you know what I'm saying, all this and just wipe it clean. But in the midst of that, you won't have any hope. You wouldn't have anything to be able to see him to work into your lives for it to actually happen. People are looking for miracles and stuff like that, which the miracles are getting ready to come, especially because what times we're in now, right? Which is kind of getting ready to go into the last part of this, the second part of this message, right? However, is that he uses that in order, you know what I'm saying, for us to be able to really see what's really real and what's not. Because we see that everything is aligning, and some people still look at it as, oh, well, it's aliens and reptilians and all this extra stuff that, they had created us in meat bags and all this type of stuff, and, they didn't create us, right? If they, you have to think about this, right? Let's just think logically. Let's think spiritually logically, right? If these aliens or reptilians or whatever created humanity, right? They wouldn't have no need to scramble and have fear for what the existence and the organization of humanity could orchestrate, you know what I'm talking about, in its entirety, operating off the higher frequency of love, right? Because they would be considered the creators. So therefore, they would know how to troubleshoot it. They would not need to sit here and continue to do all these tricks and stuff like that. If that's the case, they would just be like, you know what? And then shut us down, and then we'll go right back into sleep mode. You see that? So this is the thing, is that sometimes, just like it says in 2 Timothy, you know what I'm saying, was that 3 and 5, where it says that coming into knowledge before the seeking of knowledge, or the knowing of knowledge, or whatever. Let me see. Let me go. Let me get it, because I don't want to misquote it. So let me get it. It's like never coming to, you know what I'm saying, the full knowledge of, right? Let's go to 2 Timothy. Give me a moment. So 2 Timothy 3 and 5. Let me see here. Not 3 and 5, but let me see here. 7. So it'll be 3 and 7. It says, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Right? So it's like always seeking for something, you know what I'm saying, but not really coming to the knowledge of the truth. Right? And so when that happens, it's like the enemy, you still give the enemy legal right to be able to invoke suggestive imaginations into your mind. So this is, you know what I'm saying, able to try to, you know what I'm saying, broadcast you back into the yokes and the strongholds of those things through traumatic experience, you know what I'm saying. And so with the traumatic experience, you know what I'm talking about, then it's like, okay, well, let me go back into the comfortability of normalcy, right? So one thing I want to say is this as well, is that if you are a person that you find yourself hard for you to give up porn, or, you know what I'm saying, you are hypersexual, you know what I'm saying, you are like, you hypersexualize a lot of things, you know what I'm talking about. It's not because you are a hypersexual individual. Let me point that out to you. What it is that there is an emptiness. You know what I'm saying? There can be things that is lack of identity. You know what I'm saying? A lack of identity, you know what I'm saying? A lack of comfort. So you are displeased within yourself on certain things or certain situations, right? And then, you know what I'm saying, boredom, because you have not spent, you know what I'm saying, proper, you know what I'm saying, isolatory time, you know what I'm saying, in isolation, like isolatory, right? Isolation type time, you know what I'm saying, to be able to have self-awareness, right? So it gets to the point of, in the midst of that, you seek comfort in some form. And so for you to be able to release the dopamines in your mind to make you feel good and make you feel gratified, like that, you know what I'm saying, you're doing something, but that's not having to be so tedious to do something, is really what that is. A lot of people don't think of it like that. They don't know that's what that is. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, you know, it's many other things that go into that dynamic as well. There are people that have, you know what I'm saying, a spirit of incubus or a succubus spirit that has been, you know what I'm saying, deep rooted into them, right? Via traumatic experiences of certain childhood traumas, you know what I'm saying, being over sexualized, or going through a sexual, you know what I'm saying, abuse or assault situation. And so then it ends up, you know what I'm saying, festering and becoming familiar to them. So this is the thing that they know. Now, aside from that, they're trying to, well, in the midst of that, they're trying to try to escape it. So with the escapism of it, is they delve further into it. And so as they delve further into it, it's one of those things that they do it subconsciously, not knowing that they're trying to make themselves feel okay with the transgression that happened against them. And so this also is a point of them trying to configure and figure out, you know what I'm saying, what really happened. Their mind is trying to piece together things. And so this is why they, you know what I'm saying, are lured by certain things, you see. And so aside from that, like I said, that's just many different things that go into that, right? Aside from that, as people tend to deal with, you know what I'm saying, like pornography or those type of things, you know what I'm saying, also because the world tries to show you that it's okay to do. Oh, it's something that's normal. Everybody does it. You know what I'm saying? The brain has this thing where if it continues to do one thing, then it tends to get bored, right? And so as it tends to get bored, it starts to look for something that is more, you know what I'm saying, alluring. And so this is why, you know, people will end up trying to look for the perfect porno cocktail. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I need mine with this in it, or, you know what I'm saying, put this around the rim so I can go ahead and get, you know, all that type of crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so what that is the same way that it operates in those who are not fully healed in relationships, right? So they can be in a relationship with a person, and this person can be a great person, but they don't feel fulfilled. They don't feel pleased, right? It's because there's something inside themselves that has not been fully mastered, that has not been fully catered to, that has not been fully aware, had a lot of awareness into it, brought onto it, right? And so it's a void that needs to be filled. And they don't know that it's a void. They're thinking that, oh, it's cool, everything's cool. So then this is why, you know, a lot of us have been in relationships with people, you know what I'm saying? Whether we've been on the receiving end or whether we've been on the giving end, you know what I'm saying? Why we will end up being in a relationship and things work out for a while, but then we, you know, get bored with it and try to look for something that's more, you know what I'm saying, pleasing. This is why people tend to try to cheat and stuff, because they're bored with that thing, you know what I'm saying? Instead of not knowing that it's okay to be able to have a normal, boring relationship. What's deemed boring is not really boring. What's deemed boring should actually be, you know what I'm saying, something that is normal, that's beautiful, that's special. Not every day that you need to have an argument or a fight, or not every day do you need to have something that, you know what I'm saying, that pleases you, you know what I'm saying, like in an unnatural way. That's not ordinary. It's traumatic. And that's because you're trying to doctor those things that, you know what I'm saying, that have happened via, you know what I'm saying, traumatic experience, via physical abuse, psychological or emotional abuse, right? That's what that is. So when people look and delve into, you know what I'm saying, porno or hypersexuality and stuff like this, you know what I'm saying, there are people that are out crying for help when they do it. So they want to have some type of form of gratification. This is why you have people that would do things online and stuff like that, because we know that online is the way for people to vent, right? Because some people might not be heard in the midst of their family or their friends or whatever. They might not be able to confide, so they'll just go ahead and come online in many different platforms or apps to be able to circumvent, you know what I'm talking about? And so they can expose and release that thing. So that right there, with what I just said, that releasing that thing is the same way that we should be able to do with the Most High, right? Because then when you release it with the Most High, there is no accusers. But whenever you release it in the midst of other people, yes, there's some people that might feel that, and okay, I agree and all this type of stuff, you know what I'm saying? But there's always going to come accusers. The enemy is going to use accusers to try to hold you into that thing. And this is why people spiral further and further into depression, right? Post-traumatic stress, you know what I'm saying, disorder and all these type of things, because these things end up lingering. And so it's like they can never run from that thing. Instead of just giving it up. It's not yours to carry. It was never yours to carry. It was just for you to experience. In the midst of you experiencing it, you know what I'm saying, you was never supposed to create it as baggage. But the enemy has told you lies in your mind, and that you are not good enough, and that this is you. You know what I'm saying? And so you believe that. But you will not take time to believe in yourself, nor believe that, you know what I'm saying, there's a creator that really loves you. You know what I'm saying? Above all. Creator has given you life in your lungs, has given you family, has given you ample things throughout your life whenever you were needing certain things. There are certain things that he may have taken away from you because he was doing it for your safety, but he still restored and gave restoration and replacing of things in your life, right? And so you have to keep that in mind. But what I'm saying though is this, right? Is that in the midst of those who vent who come on social media and stuff like that to try to vent, you know what I'm talking about, it's really like an outcry for help. This is why whenever I see people that's doing all kind of things and, you know what I'm saying, twerking and tooting up stuff and, you know what I'm saying, doing all kind of just things that, you know, trying to, I guess, sexual deviancy, you know what I'm saying, manipulation with their bodies and stuff like that, a lot of them are really trying to seek, you know what I'm saying, gratification, you know what I'm talking about. And so I see that in these people, and I that's why I pray, you know what I'm saying, for people like that, because it's like some of those people just do that just because they want to be accepted, you know what I'm saying. They have to be accepted because they deal with themselves, and so it's like, well, dang, I don't really like who I am, so maybe if I kind of show this or I do this, then people will accept me, and maybe it'll, you know. And so they feel like that they can try to, you know what I'm saying, pimp the system while the enemy is pimping them into being bait, and, you know what I'm saying, pimping them into, you know what I'm saying, being a trick for pain, you know what I'm talking about, and a trick for blame, a trick for doubt, you know what I'm talking about. So it's one of those type of ordeals, right? So, you know, there are people that feel some type of way about certain things, you know what I'm saying, with themselves. So they look for a commonality, you know what I'm saying. Misery loves company. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not calling anybody miserable, but what I am saying is that it does tend to form misery in people. Because if you're not happy with yourself, then, you know what I'm saying, and you're not pleased with yourself, then what do you think that you are? Right? You are unhappy with yourself. You are miserable. This is why you end up being able to do certain things, and then, you know what I'm saying, whenever certain people give you a certain response, you don't like that response, and then you're like, well, no, I'm not really like that. I just do that just because you're seeking attention. You know what I'm saying? There's something that you're trying to get a certain type of release, a dopamine type of release, you know what I'm talking about, in order for you to feel a form of gratification, right? Also, when other people come into agreement with what you're doing, then, you know what I'm saying, it's a slight vindication. But we know that, you know what I'm saying, certain spirits dwell amidst themselves. And this is why it also says in the scripture that we should all be of one mind, one accord. You know what I'm talking about? Whenever we tend to come into agreement with the enemy, then the enemy gets legal access. And so then everybody else that is doing that, or that is coming into agreement with that, is giving the enemy legal access, and that legal access is doing nothing but giving the enemy power for the enemy to try to trick those into feeling like that they have a form of power, you know what I'm saying. But then when certain things happen, then certain things will within that group or within their identity or personality, you know what I'm saying, their character, their morals and stuff like that will end up kind of crumbling. They end up, you know, it'll be like a tower that falls. It's because they based it on sin. They based their castle on sin. You know what I'm saying? Spiritually. Not knowing that's the reason, right? Now, I just want you to know, in the midst of that, that you are not your mistakes, for real. And I'm not laughing. I'm just like, it's like the enemy really is very crazy and crafty at the way that he's done so many things towards many, and allows and has many to, you know what I'm saying, fall into this little snare that y'all don't belong in. You know what I'm saying? So just stop allowing the enemy to lie to y'all. You know what I'm saying? I know that certain people do other things, you know what I'm saying? They'll dabble into other things that is outside of certain things, you know what I'm saying, that still leads them into. So then they look at it as, okay, well, somebody who's dealing with this, and then if you don't do that, but then you telling me about, you know what I'm saying, that the Most High loves us and all this type of stuff, then, you know, you still dealing with witchcraft and all this type of stuff. Those are all lies from the enemy. Those are the fiery darts that the enemy would have people like y'all to use, you know what I'm saying, against those of us who are trying to, because y'all will look at us as, okay, well, it's like you're looking from a lens of excuses, because you're looking through the lens of escapism, right? To really walk on the path of righteousness requires you to be accountable. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is doing somebody wrong and then being like, okay, that's cool, and now let's all just be righteous. No, people that's doing it knows that it's not a cakewalk. That's the thing, beloved. It's never been a cakewalk. It's one of those things that you really have to lay down things that you desire to do, that you have a will to do, you know what I'm saying, and the things that you will not to do, but yet you do them, and the things that you know what I'm saying, will to do, but you don't do those things. You see, it's not easy. It's just like if you're not used to getting up in the AM and walking or doing a lap, you know what I'm saying, a mile or whatever, running or whatever, then you're not really going to want to do it. You're not going to do it. You will not to do it. Yeah, you will not to do it, so you probably won't do it. You know what I'm saying? The things that you will to do that you probably don't do would be like if you feel like that, oh, I need to probably eat healthy, but then you continuously eat the things that's toxic, or you continually dabble into those things that are not conducive to you. This is what it's like to, you know what I'm saying, will to do something, but not do it. You know what I'm saying? Or will not to do something and then still do it, right? So it's not a cakewalk. And that's the main thing, right? And there are people that, you know, they're like, well, we don't have to believe in a creator and a source or whatever, you know what I'm saying, because we are, you know what I'm saying, the creators of our lives, of our destinies. And, you know, slightly right, but at the same time, if you're able to be a creator of your destiny, right, then the things that you're creating as you're being a creator, why is it not really geared towards helping, you know what I'm saying, humanity become better? This is not for everybody. There's some people that feel that type of way and they're trying to go into those things, you know what I'm saying? But then whenever, my question is this after that, is that whenever you're helping people and they have certain things that is ingrained in them and that is interwoven in the fabrics of their spirit that they cannot uproot, what is your advice to help them uproot those things? You see? And for a person to be a creator, to consider themselves a self-induced creator, would be kind of a little asinine, because it's like you creating something that can now create, and that thing being like that, it never had a creator. You're gonna look at it like, what you mean? I got the blueprints right here. I did all this X, Y, and Z, and you know what I'm talking about, and I, you know what I'm saying, created and grafted you, right? So just things to think about, you know what I'm talking about. But just know that those things that, you know what I'm saying, that mistakes or things that weigh heavy on you, it's not who you are. You know what I'm talking about? The world can try to act like, and you know what I'm saying, the world, you know, should not be able to really condemn you. The Most High is the only one that can condemn you. You know what I'm talking about? Most definitely, we are supposed to be able to, you know what I'm saying, judge each other by the spirit and stuff like that, which is we test by the spirit. The spirit is supposed to be tested. So, you know what I'm saying, this is what a testimony is for us to be tested and tried in the fire, you know what I'm talking about, of our lives, being into the wilderness of certain things. How we made it out of those things is to be a testimony. So those who go through those same things that we have went through are able to see that somebody else had did it and still not be able to give up on themselves or give up on the things that has been preordained in their life, their purpose, right? Okay. So I want to go into the second part of this, right? The second part of this is me talking about the 40 and 2 months, as people are seeing that there is in a selected person in office now, right? Then a lot of people are wondering, what does that mean, you know what I'm saying, for the time moving forward? I want to go to Daniel first. Let me go to Daniel first. I'm going to go to Daniel 7. and 25. So Daniel 7 and 25. It says, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. Think to change times and laws, right? And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of times, right? But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end. Now, I've said in a previous video, not this one, it was I don't know how many videos ago it was, or what's the name of that video, but I told you that as far as ushering in the beast system is what the agenda is, right? And we know that Elon Musk is going to be one of the people who are the heads, who head, you know what I'm saying, bringing in the beast system, the mark of the beast, right? And so I told you as well, and you're going to see it, is that once he's in office, there's going to be a treaty of peace. So it's not going to be wars and stuff like this, right? He's going to eliminate, you know what I'm saying, the wars. You know what I'm talking about? China and Russia will have a truce, you know what I'm talking about? There'll be truces and stuff like that, right? And they'll end up being able to join forces. Now, with them using the technology of China, Elon Musk will give Elon Musk a wider, you know what I'm saying, spread of access to be able to work what his agenda, you know what I'm saying, is, right? In order to do technological advances, you know what I'm saying? And so this would be giving power to the beast, right? The beast system. Okay. Now, with 42, you know what I'm saying, 40 and 2 months, which we know that 42 months equals 3.5 years. We know that in tribulations, you know what I'm saying, the times of tribulations, you know what I'm saying, it's 7 years, right? There's 3.5 years, you know what I'm saying, that is gonna be okay. It's not gonna be too much, but it's gonna be leading up into, and then the remainder of the years are going to end up, you know what I'm saying, being a lot more tough than what the 3.5 is. The 3.5 have to happen in order for people to lay their guards down, you know what I'm saying, for them to feel like that, oh well, everything else is not really what, you know what I'm saying, and this is a great thing and all this, right? Now, when we know that if this is 2025, then by 2028, you know what I'm saying, going into 2029, you know what I'm saying, which they plan on having the smart agenda by 2030, right? So this should show that there's things that have to be done in order for things to already start to get set up, you know what I'm talking about, in order for the powers that be in certain people, you know what I'm saying, to try to usher in these things, you know what I'm saying. They have to have prep time. They have to be able to get these things already in order for the globalist agenda, you know what I'm saying, the Novus Oro Seclorum, you know what I'm saying, Seclorum, which is the New World Order, right? And so when we see that, let's go to Revelations. Revelations 11:2, it says, but the court which is without the temple leaves out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles. And the holy city shall they tread underfoot 40 and 2 months. Right? But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles. And the holy city shall they tread underfoot 40 and 2 months. Now we know who the Gentiles are. And obviously this is saying that the holy city should be tread under their foot, you know what I'm saying, for 40 and 2 months, which is, you know what I'm saying, 3.5, right? So now, for those who don't believe, in Daniel 12, I think it speaks about 12 1290, you know what I'm saying? In Revelations it's 1260, right? Regardless, these are significations of 3.5 months, the 40 and the 2, right? So, and also in Daniel 7, when it speaks about the 40 and 2, and then also here in Revelations 11, it speaks about the 40 and 2. Then also, I think that's, let me see here. I think that's 13. Yeah, 13 and 5. And there was given to him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, Salakia, and power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months, right? And let me read the after part of that. And he opened his mouth and blasphemed against Yah, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And the power was given to him over all kindred and tongues and nations, right? So how would he have power over all the kindred, the tongues, and the nations? If he is a person that comes in and does peace, right? And there are people that he would do things, you know what I'm saying, to try to show that he's cleaning up and make it, you know what I'm saying, justice, which there'll be things that work, you know what I'm saying, most definitely in the favor. But this would be something that would be used in order for him to be looked upon as a savior, right? And so as he's looked upon as a savior, there are going to be people that power behind him. And those things that power behind him are the things that he's ushering in, right? As it's already really kind of here. Now, let me say this, right? With those things, with those being the time of tribulations, this goes back into what I was saying in the first message of this video, is with the tribulation, you know what I'm saying, is made to be able to teach us patience, you know what I'm saying? And within patience comes experience, and within experience comes hope, right? And so what I said in the very beginning, closer to the very beginning of this video, was when I was talking about that there would be people are wondering, you know what I'm saying, for signs and stuff like that and miraculous things to happen. The tribulation has to happen in order for the miraculous signs to be able to be seen, right? And so as people are going to see these things, they're going to know for what it is, and then it's going to be undeniable that there's a creator, you know what I'm saying, that really has love for his creation, and that will, you know what I'm saying, that will vindicate, you know what I'm saying, and have vengeance for his creation. There'll be things that'll be in many different people's experiences because he works with many. So there'll be different people and different experiences that they will see. And this goes into where eventually it'll be that every tongue will confess, every knee shall bow. You know what I'm saying? Because they will know for what it is well, he did this in my life. They're supposed to go ahead, and as they were trying to eliminate people and stuff like this who went against, you know what I'm saying, the grain or the grid of what they were trying to do, then he spared my life, or there was something that just happened. And, you know, because the Most High works in mysterious ways, so I'm not even going to limit it, you know what I'm saying, to whatever. But it's just many things that people are going to see. And they're not going to be able to deny it. They're going to be like, you know what? You know, like, dang, that had to have been him. Because for a miracle to happen means that there has to be something that goes against the law of natural order of things, right? A person can't fly. So if a person ends up flying naturally, this means that that's a miracle. You see that? Person can't, you know what I'm saying, naturally just certain things, you know what I'm saying, you know, and they're able to do it supernaturally. So now that is something that goes against the grain of the law of natural order. And so that's where miracles work. That's what miraculous is. That's what a miracle is, right? And so this is why there'll be miracles and signs and wonders in the times, because people are going to see it. You know what I'm talking about, right? So let me go here. Y'all hear them birds? Those are the ducks. They wilding. I guess they flew past. It's a whole bunch of them. I don't know if you can hear them, but I heard them, right? All right. So now look. Now, with ushering in the beast system, we know that there will be people that will ask for death, or they'll seek death that it will flee far from them. One thing is this. This is a pattern. Look at this. You see this pattern? The method of recording and saving human soul for human immortality in isolation for it. This is a U.S. patent. You can look this patent up, right? You see that? So what does that mean? They've shown us in so many different movies that their agenda is to try to record, you know what I'm saying, the human soul, you know what I'm saying? Whether they show you in the Matrix, whenever they plug the little thing into the back, you know what I'm saying, of the cerebral cortex, you know what I'm talking about, for the nerve endings, you know what I'm talking about, or for it's a movie, I can't remember what the name of it is, but they store these people's souls on a disc and then put it right in the back of the same spot, right? And so how are they going to be able to, if the body deteriorates, you know what I'm saying, continuously deteriorates, immortality would entail that you would need to use a body, right? What type of body? This is where the technological, you know what I'm saying, advancement comes into place with the AI bodies and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? All right, so look, let me look at this pattern. Let me give you this pattern, because this is the picture I did, but I'm going to give you the pattern. Let me see, 200, 900, 626. Before I even go here, let me show y'all this, right? So look at this. As I typed it in, you see that, and then look what else pops up, right? Popular on X. Our hearts go out to the victim and the families of the devastating engulfs in the Grand Cartal Hotel in Balu, right? So this should show you that this is kind of going some in hand with it, right? WEF panel, industrial decarbonization as a growth strategy, highlighted that government, and I'm not gonna go into that right now, but as we looked up the patent, it's doing this. You see? Okay, so now look. This is the patent. Method of recording and saving of human soul for human immortality and installation for it, right? The inventor shows that the human soul is the only information in the human brain. He offers a method for rewriting the human brain on electronic chips. You see that? On electronic chips. Now, let me keep reading. Because I know some people is like, wait a minute. Because don't they talk about in Revelations, you know what I'm saying? The mark on their forehead or in their right hand. All right. Now, the method of allows the modeling of human soul in order to achieve man immortality. This method does not damage the brain, but works to extend and enhance it. This method of writing and saving for human soul includes writing of views which person sees in during his life by micro video recorder to portable memory, writing sounds which person speaks and hears by microphone, writing of person physical conditions and microsensors, writing of time and dates, writing of personal body, of person body, position, and so on. An installation utilized method is comprising devices. Micro video camera located at man head, microphone, computer chip for data processing, portable memory located in a person's body and connected to the portable memory, portable recorder for writing of life film located at the man body and connected to the computer and to portable memory, microsensors. Also writing of person, physical, and environmental conditions, a clock for writing of time, the microsensor of writing of men body, positions, navigation systems, long-time memory, and high capability storage, and so on, right? So we see the images, shipping batteries. You see where it is? In the head, right? Right there in the head, where the pineal gland would be, in the head, in the forehead. You see that? Can't make this up. All right. So in the midst of that, they showed us this in the movie. What is that movie? I had it right there on the tip of my tongue. Is it Free Runner? It's something like that. Let me see. Yeah, I think this is it. It's this movie right here. Let me see, is this the person? Yeah, it's this movie. It's that movie right there, Free Runner, right? So in the movie, the person has micro, you know what I'm saying, bio micro, you know what I'm saying, technology, micro biotechnology, bio micro, however you pronounce it, right, inside of his body. And so he's able to see things, you know what I'm saying, as this recording, they're able to tap in and see what he sees. Memories can be, you know what I'm saying, manipulated and all this type of stuff. They showed us this with RoboCop and all this other stuff, you know what I'm saying. So when they showed us these things, Salaki, when they showed us these things, people thought it was so far from the truth, but this was showing us to get us prepared. This was you know what I'm saying, karmic retribution, you know what I'm saying, which they show us those things in order for us to be able to say that oh, well, it won't happen, but we seen it, so therefore they can say that, oh, well, we showed you. You know what I'm saying? So therefore it should not be no kind of, you know what I'm saying, static because we showed you. Right. So that feels like that to them, it feels like that because they showed you and introduced it to you via, you know what I'm saying, entertainment, that, you know what I'm saying, there is no punishment, you know what I'm saying, for what they have already shown. Right. And so this is one of those things. And as we know in Revelation, we also know that with that type of technology would mean that it would operate with certain transmittal towers that would be in smart cities that record continuous motion, you know what I'm saying, data input, you know what I'm saying, as far as environmental data, as far as, you know what I'm saying, tracking of lifespan and stuff like that, which they already kind of do with these little smart watches that people have that tracks your heart rate and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Those things are helping to usher into, you know what I'm saying, the smart cities, the beast system. You know what I'm talking about? We know that they have underground railways and stuff like that that can connect to certain cities. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the cities that these railways connect to are going to be smart cities. They're going to be able to use lithium, which they have mined from the hurricanes and stuff like that, to be able to power those technologies. You know what I'm saying? And so the times that are ahead is going to start to get ready to usher that in, right? So like I said, the 3.5 years, the 40 and 2 months, you know what I'm saying, by what, 2028 is when it's going to start, right? So look, let me show you this as well. Since we know who is in power, why would they have this? Remember what he said, right? He said that we're going to make it so good that you don't have to vote again. Who is this? This is 2028. So 2028, we already know about the Simpsons that showed the, you know what I'm saying, in their predictions, right? You can buy these. Donald Trump for president 2024, Donald Jr. 2028, and Ivanka. You see this? See that, right? Let's click on this image. So why would they have that, right? That's the thing. So we know that Musk, and I've already had my suspicions about, you know what I'm saying, Musk, you know what I'm saying, time and time ago. You know what I'm talking about? Because people say that he just popped up on the scene. That'll be another video, you know what I'm talking about? Because I know some people want to know what's going on, and don't worry, that'll be another video. However, he is a person that is going to usher in a lot of this technological, you know what I'm saying, autonomous, you know what I'm saying, um, bio, artificial, you know, cybergenetic, all this. And so look, I've already showed y'all this before. We'll look at it one more time. SpaceX, Tesla, the Boring Company, right? Infrastructure and underground tunnel construction services. This is the services for the smart city, the Boring Company, the infrastructure and underground tunnel construction services. This would be with the train that they're going to have that goes from the smart cities, you know what I'm saying, from one to the other. That's going to be their transportation. We already know about Twitter, which is social media service and stuff like that, right? Which we know Twitter is not really going anywhere, you know what I'm saying? If anything, it'll be used to be monitored if they end up, they did the thing with the TikTok ban, but if they end up being like, you know what, let's go ahead and really just shut that down and then have other sites that are being monitored, this will be one of the ones that they're going to be able to use. You see that? This right here, XAI, you know what I'm saying, arrival of ChatGPT and OpenAI, right? So we know that this is going to be the thing that helps, that becomes like a conduit, you know what I'm talking about, for how AI thinks, Siri and Alexa and all this type of stuff, you know what I'm saying, and the things that also hook with this, with Neuralink, for people to be able to think. It's also going to monitor and, you know what I'm saying, I guess, manipulate certain thoughts or whatever, you know what I'm saying, or not even manipulate, but dictate in a certain way, you know what I'm saying, to guide certain thoughts and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, with the AI type brain, which is what we seen in the movie Resident Evil, right, with a thing called Alice, the little thing that was called Alice in Resident Evil, you know what I'm saying, they it started to think for itself, and that's what that AIX would end up being, that right there, right? Now, also, I want to show y'all this. There's a thing I have, I'm going to show y'all. Within AIX, there's a number, and it has 666 in it. I gotta look through because I have some things, like, I think it's in this phone, though, and the one I'm showing y'all on, not this one, but this one that y'all on, right? And I'm going to have to end up having to show you and post it or send it to this phone. I just don't want to end the live yet. But I'm going to show y'all what I'm talking about as far as that. But we know Neuralink develops implantable brain computer interfaces, right? So with this Neuralink thing and with the patent I just showed you, you know what I'm saying, we see clearly that that's what that is. Tesla, we already know, you know what I'm saying, the energy and solar energy generation systems and battery energy storage products. Storage products. What is a storage product? A product that can store memory, a product that can store information. So this would mean whether they have towers, you know what I'm saying, whether they have, you know what I'm saying, supercomputers or whatever, these things that hold the memories, you know what I'm saying, for certain things, like when they monitor things, when they start putting these cameras and stuff up and all this type of stuff, they're going to tell you that they put a lot of this stuff up for y'all safety. They have to allow a lot of crimes and stuff like that to happen so people can want justice for certain things. And then whenever they start to be like, you know what, hey, well, let's go ahead and put these up, and then people can be like, yeah, put them up, because that's what's going to make it safe, which to an extent, but at the same time, it's only as safe as it is whenever, if there's a person that's with a righteous rule, you know what I'm saying, in order for them to have, you know what I'm saying, a real humanitarian heart, you know what I'm saying, a heart for the people, a heart, you know what I'm talking about, for the land, a part for, you know what I'm saying, all creation, is when it really is safe. But if it's people that don't care about none of that, you know what I'm saying, then it's only as safe as those who surveil it, you know what I'm saying, who they're using to head off, you know what I'm saying, the surveillance. It would be just like you living in a house, right? And then a person who is wicked, and they telling you that they're going to make sure that they surveil and have protection for you. Now, just because they don't run in your house and, you know what I'm saying, grape you and pillage your stuff, does not mean that, you know what I'm saying, you are still protected. they might be surveilling for their own perverse or deviant, agenda. So they're wicked. So does that mean that you are really protected? No, it doesn't. It just means that they're surveilling, and the person who's actually watching is just going to allow things to not happen that they don't want to happen. But if something that they want to happen, it could easily be scrubbed, or it could be manipulated with AI. And that's another thing as well, is that the AI effect is to make things so unbelievable, to make things happen where people, it grants them into, a mental delusion, where people can see a man catching a fish and be like, that's not real, when it's really real, because they've seen things like, all these little images that they have produced and shown and stuff like that, which are not very much, effective. That's not really real. But people look at it as, oh, yeah, but that's not real. But they're doing that because there's other things that they want to help usher in, to make people's minds, not think they saw what they thought they saw. You see that? When you do that, this gives you power to be able to execute a person in the street, and you can just say that it was AI. And then after you scrub their info, because now you have certain head corporations and entities that run these things, a certain backing of the media outsource, monetary outsourcing and stuff like that, then it's like, oh, that didn't happen. You didn't see that happen. And people are going to be like, oh, you know what? I didn't see it happen, which is a form of Stockholm Syndrome. You know what I'm saying? Because people are going to fall into that with this thing that they're ushering in, right? Okay. Also, we know that if it's getting into the technological advances, then we know that it deals with what is that? CBDC, which is crypto banking digital currency. You know what I'm saying? Central banking digital currency. You know what I'm talking about? So now this means that the money, the dollar bill, loses its amount. The fiat money, you know what I'm saying? It's fiat. So it now loses its value. So now they can actually control, because they have people who is actually able to run, the beast system. You know what I'm talking about? So therefore, we already know that cryptocurrency cannot be duplicated. Bitcoin cannot be duplicated. You know what I'm talking about? It all has certain different codes. So there is no way that it can be duplicated. It's going to flag, and it can only be just what it is. So this means they have full access and control to whatever. Now, why do I say that? Because of what I just showed you. Let's go over here. Back into Revelations, right? 13. Revelations 13 and 15. And he had the power to give life unto the image of the beast. How would you have power to give life unto the image of the beast, right? The beast should both speak and cause that many would not, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So AI is a way that you can do that, you know what I'm saying, that you can make it, but also they're trying to do certain things. They got the internet cables and stuff like that underneath the water, not in the sky. These satellites and stuff like this is for monitoring, and also using these things to ping ionic waves to help them to, if they want to decarbonize the realm. We know that carbon is very much needed, but if you decarbonize the realm, then it doesn't pose that much threat to the beast system, to artificial intelligence, technological infrastructures and stuff like this, also makes people weak. The vegetation and stuff like that can then be controlled. It's just all that type of stuff, right? It'll end up going from, I think it was a 0.4, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's like 0.4 last time I checked, that the trees, so anything lesser than that gets rid of, vegetation and plant life. And we live off plant life. Plant life lives off of us. So that's another thing to try to decrease, and that can end up pushing it to the agenda of, well, you want to live longer? Let's go ahead and use patent US 977A1, which would be the saving of the human soul or whatever, or, you know what I'm saying, immortality, right? So now it says that as he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So we know that's 666, right? Okay. Now, NASA, right? Let me see here. So NASA, let me do this. Boom. The sensor swarms, smart dust, cubic millimeter or less, combined sensors, comms, and power supply floats in air currents, right? Nanotags, placed on everything, everywhere, identification and status info, and also co-opted insects. This is from the NASA, right? So when we know that, then we know that that's another way that they're going to be able to use it to track, you know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be able to track, you know what I'm saying, nanotechnology, nanotags, or, you know what I'm saying, aluminum, chromium, and barium, you know what I'm saying, which will end up being like reflectors or things that they have within it, within nanoparticles. Those should be able to be like sensors, if you will, right? It's just like, imagine the movies where they show that there's banks and there are people that try to go in and it has this big grandiose safe, right? And so in order for you to be able to get to the safe, there's lasers that you can't see. So what the smart dust will end up doing would be in the same thing as if you did fog or powder in that room, you know what I'm saying, as it now shows where you can detect the lights, the lasers, and know where to maneuver through. This is what those things would do, but we would be the lasers in a sense. And so that would end up pinging back into, you know what I'm saying, their database to let them know who and what is where, you know what I'm saying, however, right? Who, what, when, where, and how, and why. You see that? So that's the way I can explain that to y'all, for y'all to really get a grasp on what it is, right, and how it works. Now, I want to show y'all this. This is a presentation, you know what I'm saying, based on the future works forthwith. Now look who has backing in this, right? Look at this. The USAF, you know what I'm saying? Also, we see over here, DARPA. What? The CIA? What? The FBI, SOCOM, NSAP. What? And what some people don't know is that BlackRock also has ties into this as well. The same BlackRock that's part of the deep state agenda, that same BlackRock, right? And whenever you know that, then you start to see that, oh, you start to learn that it's a stage, that a lot of things are a stage in order for the enemy to be like, let's try to help usher it in, but we're going to give the people, make them think that. And so this is another reason why a lot of the celebrities think it's funny, because they're like, oh, okay, it's, you know what I'm saying, but they don't know that those who is really wicked, just watch, you'll see. That's all I can say is they're gonna see. They're gonna think fat meat. They don't think fat meat greasy until it's time to chew. You know what I'm talking about? But hey, it's because they don't believe. That's fine. But you're gonna see. right? So we know that strategic issues of future warfare of circa 2025 is capabilities of the enemy after next ongoing worldwide technological revolutions, economic trends, potential nature of further territorial warfare, right? Let's see. Now, the microdust weaponry, right? Technical analog bio micron-sized mechanized dust, which is distributed as an aerosol and inhaled into the lungs. Dust mechanically bores into lung tissue and uh, executes various pathological missions. A wholly new class of weaponry, which is legal. So I told y'all last year in the summertime that they got this stuff and they're trying to do this stuff, and this stuff will make it to where you can be detectable. Also, in the midst of it, they can make it to where you end up having respiratory problems and try to pawn it off as it is a new pandemic, you know what I'm saying, disease, right? Oh, it's a disease of a pandemic, so now we can make whatever, we can say it's the cowhide triad, you know what I'm saying, and now everybody's dying from cowhide triad, you know what I'm saying, and they end up giving it an acronym, you know what I'm saying, CHT or whatever, and then people is like, oh, I don't want to get the CHT jab or whatever, but it's like, well, we're going to do this and they making people think that it's, but it's, you know what I'm saying, something that is gained, that is inhalation, you know what I'm talking about, because if they can't put it in your food, which they're already trying to do some of the things, the vaccines in the foods and stuff like that, which they're going to try to do within the fast foods as well. You know what I'm saying? So this is another reason why we should really look into Salakia, cooking our own meals, growing our own vegetables, changing the way that we diet and that we eat. Because if they can put these poisons and these toxins into these things, you know what I'm saying, then these things will end up taking a toll on us, right? And they'll try to take us out. And then they'll try to sell us the illusion of being able to live longer, which will still cater into what they're trying to roll out. You see that? So the enemy works that way. You know what I'm saying? The enemy is very crafty. And with us knowing that the enemy does these type of things, and it's easier to see like that, imagine what the enemy does to the mind. So this is another reason why, you know what I'm saying, a lot of us have to have our minds sharp and have to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, that what we are feeding our souls, our spirits, is something that is of health. You know what I'm saying? Something that is of righteousness, something that is uprightness, because there's too many poisons in a lot of the things, you know what I'm saying, that people are feeding themselves, and it's not really working. It works temporarily, but at the same time, it's just like people will make fun of, you know what I'm saying, whenever we talk about the Most High and stuff like that. So many people make fun of these type of things, you know what I'm saying. However, they still come to us for advice. They still seek, you know what I'm saying, when the Holy Spirit speaks through people, they still seek, you know what I'm saying, the confirmation and, you know what I'm saying, the gratification and the administration, you know what I'm saying, through the ministry of the Holy Spirit that is, you know what I'm saying, that is encompassing, you know what I'm saying, and embodying each and every person that really has a connection with the Holy Spirit. And the thing about it is, a lot of people tend to get jealous about, well, why is it not knowing that you too can have it? You know what I'm saying? You just have to walk and do the works of what you, because some people are already so touched and skilled that the Most High has blessed them with certain giftings and, you know what I'm saying, attributes, but they don't see it for what it is. So they will use it for those things that's, you know what I'm saying, a comfortable normalcy, you know what I'm saying, as they You got people that mess around and they can really perceive things. They don't know that that's a form of prophecy. You know what I'm saying? Form of, you know what I'm saying? What is that word? I just had it right there on my mind. You know what I'm saying? Forgot what that word is, but it's like a viewing. You know what I'm saying? Like they can see. You know what I'm saying? It's another word. It's not prophecy, but it's another word. Like, you know what I'm saying? They can actually tell what, and so they have that thing in them and they will use it, you know what I'm talking about, untrained for the kingdom of darkness. And the enemy will use that thing and make them feel like that, oh, well, yeah, you're using that, and this is why you're using it is because it goes into this. It goes into tarot, or it goes into soothsaying, or it goes into, and it's like, well, if you don't even mess with the tarot, the cards, or if you don't even mess with, you know what I'm saying, the little signs and astrology and stuff like that, you still have that thing. But it's because you use these things, it makes you feel like that that's where that power comes from. And this is how the enemy works, to empower people, not knowing that they have the power within themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot deeper than rap. But like I said, the tribulations that come in life are made to be able to, is made for our glory. You know what I'm talking about? It's for us to be able to have patience, to gain experience, to gain hope, to be able to know that it works. Because once we see and we have these things and we become dependent upon the Most High, like I do the rest, you know, this is because I'm living proof of that. Like my situation that I've been through, you know what I'm saying, the things that I deal with and stuff like that, and people just look at me and be like, you make it seem easy. Well, it's only easy because the Most High, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Had I just been trying to do this on my own, I wouldn't have came this far as far as I've come now. You know what I'm talking about? I would not have been here. I would not know the things that I know. It's all attributed to the Father. That's it. You know what I'm saying? It's because I chose to present myself as a living sacrifice. Those things that do not do me any good, you know what I'm saying? Let those things go. Those things that the enemy tries to tell me in my brain, or things that the people you try to bring around that try to do certain things or make me feel certain type of ways and stuff like that, is all just a test for me. For him to be like, okay, cool, well, I got you through this level, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm going to take you through this level. But that's another reason, is because people think that I have now I know what my calling is. I know what my purpose is. You know what I'm saying? But people think that because the way that I maneuver, they think that I already have it all figured out. And the thing about it is I walk blindly. That's increasing my faith daily. There's people that they think that they can outthink me. I'm going to try to outthink him. I'm going to try to outmaneuver him and stuff. And it's like, you can't outmaneuver something that you don't know where it's going. If I don't know, you know what I'm saying, like I know where my destination is, but if I don't know the path that I'm supposed to step on in order for me the steps I need to make to get there, and he makes my steps, he helps me walking those steps daily, what makes you think that you can, you know what I'm saying, beat me to the end of the, you know what I'm saying, the destination of the goal, if he don't even tell me? That's the thing that you have to understand, is because when you really trust in the Father, when you really trust, you know what I'm saying, and believe that the Holy Spirit is real, you know what I'm saying, when you really know that Yahusha, you know what I'm saying, really works, then you can see certain things and it works. This is what separates the wheat from the tares. This is why you have so many people. If the people who say they don't believe, you know what I'm saying, in what a lot of us believe in, you know what I'm talking about, there would be no purpose for them to try to do witchcraft. There will be no purpose for them to try to seek out us and try to devour us and to try to gain ranks, because they know you can't gain rank off of something that has no authority, that has no, you know what I'm saying, absolution, that has no power. That would be like a person running out there and trying to go ahead and gain rank, you know what I'm saying, off of somebody that's weak. They can't even fight. It's like, okay, now I'm the world's best fighter, but you fighting weak people who don't even fight. You think that you finna be considered the world's best fighter? No, you have to be able to fight and combat against people who actually got some go to them. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna really work you. That's gonna really put some, you know what I'm talking about, some out there. And that's the thing, is that that's how it works, is because so many people are trying to pretend like that it does not exist, but yet they still come against us repeatedly. Some of them don't know that they do it. Some of them know that they do it, and they come in groups, you know what I'm saying, covens and hives and all this extra type of stuff, herds and all this, you know what I'm talking about, is because they know that there's power behind some of us. There are certain things there's a ranking about this person that I can see in the spirit, and I feel like only if I feel compelled to be able to destroy them. If I can destroy them, if I can block their path, if I can be able to get them to denounce, you know what I'm saying, their purpose and put down where they're trying to go, then I can gain power, and now I gain rank, and now I'm able to be powerful, the most powerful, you know what I'm saying, destiny destroyer or high ranking witch or warlock or, you know what I'm saying, whatever. So those people lie to y'all. They think that they make y'all feel like whatever to make y'all be able to act like it does not exist, for you only to denounce your power, for you to not see that there is a way of escape. Because last time I checked, and I'm going to keep saying this, is that these revelations and this prophecy that's being fulfilled, witchcraft and bruja and all that type of stuff, voodoo and all this type of stuff, is not doing nothing right now in the midst of what's going on. Judgment not being cast because, you know what I'm saying, you and Elegba or whatever, and you summoning and calling upon, you know what I'm saying, Papa Legba or whatever, or because you using you know what I'm saying, Marine Kingdom spirits and calling on, you know what I'm saying, Zang Beto, or you calling on Oladume or Shango, or, you know what I'm saying, like, it's that's what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, and they want you to think that, you know, but none of this is happening off of that. But you'll see. But that's the thing, is that, you know, many people are going to see. Not everybody, it's not meant for everybody. You know what I'm talking about? This is why I don't worry about everybody. I just worry about those who are able to be salvaged, you know what I'm talking about, in the midst of the storms to come. Because if that was the case, then you would have those people that summon those spirits and stuff like this, being able to tell you an encouraging word to uplift you, to be able to show you, you know what I'm saying, and have you walk in your power instead of walking in certain things and turn around and jumping up and down and, you know what I'm saying, doing divinations, or, you know, sometimes you don't even got to do that. Some people know that all it is really just speaking the word as well, you know what I'm talking about, but they're not teaching you how to speak a word of healing. One thing before I go is I want to tell you this. The reason why y'all usually see me always drinking out these waters and stuff like this is because, do you know that I speak life into my waters? You know that? This is what a lot of y'all should be doing. You know what I'm talking about? I speak life into my water. Whenever I get these waters, I go ahead and I pop the lid and I speak life, existence, you know what I'm saying, enhancement, endurance, intelligence, you know what I'm talking about, restoration, breaking of curses, healing against evil eye, and all these types of things. I speak these things into that water, you know what I'm saying, and I close it up and let it sit for a minute, and then I drink it. The thing that's crazy is that I have not been sick for a long time. Yeah, I might be stuffy now, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not sick. Salakia. I ate some dairy. So, you know what I'm talking about. Whenever you have dairy and stuff like that, it prevents mucus and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about. But that's the thing, is that some people don't know how to speak life into themselves. If you're not speaking life into yourself, into the foods, the things that you drink, you know what I'm saying, how's it gonna work? That's the reason I love water, because water holds intelligence. So if you can speak into it, then it's gonna happen. You're full with water. So if you speak to yourself and you speak life into yourself, what do you think is going to happen with your cellular structure? You know, it's only so much that people can really, you know, and these people will try to tell you that, you know, summoning and doing divinations and stuff like that is what's going to get you through, and, you know, like, to each his own. But I've seen these people be sick, and I haven't been sick in a long time. You know what I'm saying? I have not been sick in a long time. And the thing that's crazy is that even when it's something that tries to get me sick, it's gone the next day. It don't even, like, I'm not really even sick. It's just, I can feel something that's like, well, dang, I feel like I'm end up being sick. Next thing you know, so it works. Put lemon in your water as well. That's another thing too. You put lemon in your water and drink it, and it increases your immune system. You don't have to worry about, you know what I'm saying, certain things lingering, especially since the weather is changing dramatically and all this type of stuff. You don't have to worry about all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Drink lemon water. What it's gonna do is tear down. It's gonna build your immune system. It's gonna break down the things that is not of your immune system. Whenever you first start drinking it, make sure that you don't be around people that, you know what I'm saying, is sick. And then I guarantee you 3 days after that, your immune system is up. Anytime you're around somebody that's coughing and hackling and doing all this extra stuff, it's not going to affect you. You know what I'm saying? And so the same way that works is the same way how the word works. Whenever you apply it in your life, whenever the enemy tells you that you're not great and you say greater is he who was in me than he was in the world, when the enemy tells you that, oh, well, you're never going to reach that goal, and then you say that, you know what I'm saying, he predestined me before I was even in my mother's womb, he knew of me and he predestined me and preordained me for my journey. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're shooting those things down. It's just the same thing what Yahushua was doing whenever he came off his 40-day fast in the wilderness, and the enemy was like, you know what I'm saying, oh, well, you hungry. If that's the case, then, you know what I'm saying, you know, get something to eat. And he was like, man cannot feed off of bread alone, but every word that professes out the mouth of the Most High. You know what I'm saying, cannot live off of bread alone. So it'll be the same way that if you have people that encourage you and tell you that you are mighty and that you can do all things, that you are able to beat any enemy out here. Whenever an enemy come up on you, a person try to tell you that you're not beautiful or that you're not handsome, you know what I'm saying, then I know I am, because, you know what I'm saying, my father or my mother told me that I'm handsome or I'm beautiful or whatever, you know what I'm saying. Somebody try to tell you that you're not smart, you know what I'm saying, I'm smarter than you, you're not smart or whatever, but then, you know what I'm saying, you have a backing that lets you know that you're intelligent and stuff like that, so you're like, oh, okay, well, that's what you think, but I know what I am, you know what I'm saying. So that's the way that the word works. Whenever you end up, because then you're able to speak life into your situations. Those things that come against you, people tell you that you're not going to be great, that you a loser, you a slacker, that, you know what I'm saying, you're not going to succeed or achieve things, you know what I'm talking about, to try to spit those word curses upon you, it won't work. That's why it don't work for me. People be trying to tell me all the time, or, oh, well, you need to, and you know what I'm saying, well, the Father's telling me that you need to just sit back and just relax for a whole month and all this, and he didn't tell me that. Why is he telling you that? You know what I'm saying? I can't really trust your relationship with him. I trust my relationship with him because I know I walk with him. You know what I'm saying? I get up every morning and I make sure that I go ahead and acknowledge him, read some scriptures or whatever. If I don't get to read no scriptures, then I make sure that I read some scriptures later on that night, or I mess around and be around people who actually is able to fellowship in an assembly. I have real reverence for him. Some people don't. Some people just do this to make it look like whatever, but that's the thing, is that that's why they get upset, because they want to take it upon themselves to pretend like, and I don't have to pretend. That's the thing. Just like other people don't have to pretend. This is why whenever you see the Holy Spirit dwell upon these people, then you know, and then you can end up going there and then you can learn from these people. That's why I chase and seek. You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, that person, she has the Holy Spirit, so I'm going to listen to what she says. He has the Holy Spirit, so I'm going to sit back and listen to what he says. You know what I'm saying? Because there's going to be some things that's in there for me. I don't know everything. People pretend like they do. I don't have time to pretend. My life is very real. You know what I'm saying? This is not just no social media get up. Like I said, I don't get paid for this. People think that when I say that is, oh, well, you just hurting. But no. You know what I'm saying? I done encourage and help a lot more people than what you think. That's the thing. And there's a lot of people that like to emulate and stuff like this who actually I've sold into their lives. You know what I'm talking about? But they won't tell you that. But you will see it. Because every action has a reaction. So regardless if they want to pretend and deny and act like they don't see, there's another thing I need to tell y'all before I leave, because this is one thing that he told me today, is that, you know what I'm saying, the Most High told me this, is that you know why people pretend like they don't see you is because they don't want you to see yourself. That's facts. People pretend like they don't see you is because they don't want you to see yourself. They're hoping that you don't see yourself. When you see yourself, then you start to know, and you start to have an awareness, and you know that people see you. You know what I'm saying? And even if they don't see you, if you don't, it does not matter, because he sees you. But they do that is because they don't want you to see yourself. So you got to know who you are. You got to walk in that confidence and that strength. You know what I'm talking about? You are above and not below. You're the head and not the tail. You are a lender and not a borrower. You know what I'm talking about? You are stewards and ambassadors of the kingdom. You know what I'm talking about? You are holy royal heirs of the kingdom, of something so much great. People might not want to have their keys and wiggle their keys for the kingdom. That's cool. If they don't want the keys, you know what I'm saying, they won't ever be able to unlock the doors. Let them stay stuck in themselves. Dust your feet off and move along to the next one. Because there's other people that's out there that's looking, you know what I'm saying, that's seeking, and then you can end up teaching them and helping them or whatever, you know what I'm saying, by the way that you lead by example on your lifestyle, you know what I'm saying, that's going to end up helping them to develop, you know what I'm saying, the keys within, and see if they have a light within themselves and then shine their light bright. A candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. But those who want to condemn and dim your light, they lose everything. Because think of it like this. You being a light, right? And a person coming to, and they all in darkness. And in the darkness is a lot of sharp objects, so they don't know what direction they finna step. So whatever they step, they gonna step into something, you know what I'm saying, and hurt themselves. But if they had not put your light out, they might could be able to see the path clearly. So with that, I do bid adieu, you know what I'm talking about. And stay encouraged. I love y'all for real. You know what I'm saying? I do have love for y'all, man. I keep telling y'all that, you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to keep saying it until my last breath. I got love for y'all for real. You know what I'm talking about? Have love for those who love you. You know what I'm saying? Love on those who love you. You know what I'm talking about? Go where you celebrate it and not tolerate it. You know what I'm talking about? Make sure that you keep an intimate relationship with the Most High. Make sure that you read your books, the Bible, you know what I'm talking about. Make sure that you're learning as well, that you're not just leaning onto your own understanding and feeling like that you know it all. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to know that you don't know everything. Being mature and being grown and accountable is knowing that you don't know everything. I'm the type of person that if somebody asks me something, I don't know it. Okay, well, let's find the answer together. That's how that goes. Oh, yeah, you seem like you might, well, go ahead, shoot your question. They asking, oh, I might not know all the way, but together we can search and seek the answer because I love to learn. So let's learn together. You see that? That's maturity. Not being like, oh, and then making up stuff, and as you go, and then, you know what I'm saying, the information that you have is wrong, and then somebody is getting led down somewhere that they don't even need to be. You know what I'm talking about? So make sure that you keep an intimate relationship with the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Stay mature in the spirit. Stay well-grounded, well-rounded. You know what I'm talking about? Know that the Father definitely loves you. The Father loves you. If nobody told you today, the things that you dealt with yesterday that you overcame today, I'm proud of you. Even if you're still dealing with something, but you took time to get up and to at least try. A little try to a big try. You know what I'm saying? I am proud of you. You making progress. Don't look at it as, oh, well, I'm supposed to be here. I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? The Most High definitely is proud of you for real. I got love for y'all most definitely. You know what I'm saying? The Most High loves y'all above everything. You know what I'm saying? The outer knee loves y'all. So stay in the faith. Continue to walk strong. You know what I'm talking about? Walk in your confidence, not in your arrogance. There is no growth there. You know what I'm saying? So continue to glow and grow and continue to be lights to the world, the salt of the earth. Stay flavored up. You know what I'm talking about? Shalom, shalom, beloveds. Peace.